Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston, and today is news. We're going to jump straight into OP06 reveals. We got a ton of cards to talk about, and some really exciting stuff up top on this episode. Let's jump straight into these two. We're going to start with the card on the left, that's Judge. Vinsmoke Judge, purple character, 8 cost, 8k power, Vinsmoke family, Germa 66. On play, Dawn -1, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. Play up to 4 Germa 66 type characters with a cost of 4k power or less from your trash with different names. Activate main once per turn, -1 Dawn. Rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards. So the 4 characters are going to be the kids. We've talked about the kids before. And I believe all of the non-raid suit versions are under 4k power. So he's going to bring out all of his kids. So you're going to fill your entire board with a -1 Dawn. That's feel like a really crazy opportunity, because then all of the kids have a -1 Dawn to bring out their better version, which is the raid suit version that I think we've seen all of. So that's pretty crazy effect to drop on turn 4 possibly, being a 8 cost. Pretty crazy, and we'll have to see how well the deck runs to get those the Germa cards into the trash so that you can actually activate this effect as close to curve as possible. But that's a pretty crazy effect for purple, and we'll just have to see how well it runs. If it doesn't run well, we won't have to worry about it, but that is a pretty fearsome effect. Let's move on to Hody Jones, green character, 7 cost, 8k power, Fishman, new Fishman Pirates. Rush. On play, rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters and or Dawn, then put the top card of your life into your hand. So that's pretty crazy. We get a Rush character in green, which I don't think they've had yet. And then you can pick either 1 Dawn and 1 character, or 2 characters or 2 Dawn, and rest them. And then on top of that, you get a card back to your hand from your life. So we'll have to see if there's any cards that really benefit from this, but just having a decent boss character to put down for this deck is pretty good, and giving it Rush is a nice touch. So I'm pretty excited about this card. Being able to affect your opponent's side of the field as greens like forte, that's what they've focused on in this first year of One Piece. We'll have to see how the rest of the new Fishman Pirates stack up to the rest of the meta to see if this is actually a good effect. Just like I said with Judge, if the deck isn't going to run smoothly, it doesn't matter if there's a few good cards. Let's move on to the next set. We got the secrets up top. We're going to talk about these two, and we'll jump back to the other 2 super rares, because I just wanted, starting with Judge was just a teaser for the absolutely insanity that they dropped this weekend. So let's start with Zoro on the left. Got Roronora Zoro, green character, 9 cost, 9k power, Straw Hat Crew. When attacking once per turn, tap 1 Dawn, set this character as active. Activate main once per turn, 2 Dawn, set this character as active. That's pretty crazy. So Zoro can attack. While he's attacking, he can set himself back to an active attack again. And then, since you're still in your main, you can activate the effect and set him to active again. So you're getting 3 attacks out of this Zoro, or you're getting an attack or 2 while staying active so that it's harder for him to be taken out. Since we're seeing a lot of stuff that destroys rested characters, it's going to be easy to take down a rested character with some of these decks. So maybe leaving him active at the end of the turn isn't a bad thing. But also getting 3 attacks on a Zoro is exactly what we wanted out of Zoro. He's holding 3 swords. We want to get every single attack out of a Zoro card as possible. So that's a super great card for Zoro. And it's our first secret of the set. And standing right next to him, the other wing of our captain, Sanji, blue character, 9 cost, 9k power, Straw Hat Crew. On play, reveal the top card of your deck you may put into play the revealed character with a cost of 9 or less other than Sanji. Then place any other cards to the bottom of your deck. So if it's an event card, it goes to the bottom. If it's a character of 9 cost or less, you're playing it. A 9 cost or less hitting the board is crazy. We have so many good 9 cost cards and lower that you can play. You could play the Zoro and then attack 3 times the next turn. I believe you can play Katakuri, you could play, there's some 9 cost Kaidos that are disgusting. Absolutely insane effect to be able to bring a 9 or less off the top of your deck, and putting it in blue just makes it so much more possible that you're going to be able to see the top card of your deck before you play this character, so that you can peek in your deck. You could go back all the way to set 1, use Perona, set up or Doflamingo, set up the next few turns, and then play this Sanji into Yamato's from yellow or anything. It's a crazy effect to jump right into, and very deserving of the secret position in this set. Let's jump back to our last super rares that we got from the 3v3 tournament and show you our Gecko Moria and our Momonosuke. So let's scroll down here, and we're using the One Piece Discord as our translations. Thank you, shout out to you, always linked in the description. Alright, here we go. Gecko Moria, black character, 8 cost, 9k power, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Thriller Bark Pirates. On play, choose up to 1 cost 4 or less and up to 1 cost 2 or less character from your trash. Play one of them active, play the other rested. That's really cool. We saw the leader is sending stuff to the trash. We're seeing a lot of things interact with the trash for black, and it doesn't say in the translation that the cards have to be Thriller Bark Pirates. It doesn't say that your leader has to be Thriller Bark. So this is on play, play 2 characters from your trash, which is a great card for black that's already sending stuff to the trash. You could see this card played in the Navy stuff because their Searcher sends stuff to the trash. You could see this in Dressrosa because they play around the trash because they want to build up for their Luffy. This is a really cool card with no restrictions currently. And at 8 cost, it's fitting in with all of the cards that we've seen this episode so far as a very big powerhouse. And the boss monsters are being revealed so far. So out of all of them, of course, I've been talking about it since I saw that it was Thriller Bark. I'm excited about Thriller Bark, but the secret rares are incredible. They really pulled out all the stops on those secret rares. Moving on to our last super rare, Kozuki Momonosuke, yellow character, 5 cost, 6k power, Wano, Kozuki clan. Blocker. On play, place up to one of your Wano type characters other than Kozuki Momonosuke on the top or bottom of its owner's life pile face up. So we're seeing this effect that comes into yellow quite often, and putting it on a 5 cost isn't too bad. Replacing characters back to your life is really nice, and if we get any decent triggers out of yellow for this set, this card will skyrocket in popularity. We already have some really good ones in the previous set that allow you to play the character or put it to your hand and do stuff, and not the worst thing that we could see out of these yellow super rare, and a great card for Momonosuke to show his new adult form. I'm really excited to see what they do with Wano. We already got the Yamato leader, which is incredible, and this I think is just another cherry on top of this incredible yellow sundae that we have going on for us in this set. Alright, moving on to the cards that were revealed during the week. We have about 6 cards, so hang in there, we're almost done. We're going to start off with this Kuzan, blue character, 3 cost, 5k power, Navy. On play, draw 2 cards, then place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order. So we're going to probably see this quite often with blue until they ban Nami, most likely. They're not going to allow you to draw cards and discard them anymore. unless it's specifically meant for a Nami deck because they don't want to overpower that deck. And since blue has to do with draw very often, it has to do with pulling and moving stuff, you're going to see cards being drawn and then put to the bottom of your deck unless it's specifically meant for a Nami deck, which isn't a bad thing. We don't need that deck to be tier 0. We like it where it is. It will show off at some point and fall off at other times. But this Kuzan, we love seeing new cards in your hand, so drawing 2, moving 2 isn't a big minus at a 3 cost with 5k power. That's an incredible effect, and I'm quite excited to see the rest of the blue navy cards they put in this set. Next up, we got the next Thriller Bark card. We have Inupipi. Inupi, the dog penguin hybrid. Inupi, black character, 2 cost, 3k power, Thriller Bark Pirates, 1k counter. On play or on KO, if your leader is Thriller Bark Pirates, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand. That's a pretty great effect. We just talked about Kuzan being a specific type of blue card that's not going to allow you to send stuff to the trash anymore. Black cards are not restricted to that archetype. So we're going to see that often, especially for this set. We're going to be sending stuff to the trash so that we get our big geckos effects, we get our leader geckos popping off, and we have opportunities to play this archetype. And at 2 costs, with it being able to activate twice, this is a great card. That's 4 cards drawn off of this character. Being able to see more cards in your deck is always going to be a good thing. And I see no downsides to this little penguin dog. If there's anything wrong with this character, it's the facial expression. But other than that, let's jump on to a yellow character. This is Asia, yellow character, 1 cost, 0 power, Skypiea, 2k counter. On play, look at up to 1 card from the top of your or your opponent's life cards and place it at the top or bottom of the life. That's a crazy 1 cost card. With 2k counter, this is going to probably be in all of the yellow decks. Getting that game knowledge for your own side and picking up off of and moving counter around in your opponent's side is a phenomenal effect that we've seen great use out of Katakuri for, and you're going to see a lot of good use for this in like Queen, and oh my goodness, this is such a good effect, and putting it on a 1 cost is ridiculous. That game knowledge is so important, and I can't imagine this not being a 4 of in almost any yellow deck, because there's pretty much no downside to this card. It can attack, but who cares? You have great game knowledge. You're playing it in a deck that you can pick it back up and use it for the 2k or play it again. Absolutely phenomenal card in my opinion. I can't wait to see the shenanigans that get pulled with this character. And I want you to let me know in the comments, is this a good idea? Is this a good idea to have this character be a 1 cost? Let me know in the comment section, what were they thinking with this card? I really want to see your opinions on it. But while you think about that and type that comment in, I'm going to move on to the next character. This is Cosette, purple character, 1 cost, 0 power, Germa Kingdom, counter 1k. If your leader has Germa 66 type and your board has 2 or more Dawn, less than your opponent's, this character gains blocker. So a very conditional blocker. You have to have 2 Dawn less than your opponent to be able to gain blocker. It doesn't have power. It's a 1k counter, but I can't, just knowing that their effects are minus Dawn doesn't make me feel like I want to play this character. But I also don't like when purple does this to their archetype. So there's the 2 things I always complain about purple. And we'll have to see how this plays out, but I imagine this is going to sit in your box, in your binder, and not see very many deck lists. Moving on to, a Fishman. Alright, this is Hemon, green character, 2 cost, 2k power. Fishman, new Fishman Pirates, counter 1k. Blocker. we saw this in black with Cerberus. This is just the standard effect for at least one card in each set. You get a 2k blocker at 2 cost, and not much room to talk there. Just a standard archetype card that everyone gets. Moving on to our last card of the set, another Fishman, and let's see how good our boy Vander is. Vander Decken the 9th, green character, 2 cost, 2k power Fishman, Flying Pirates, 1k counter. On play, you may trash a Fishman type card from your hand, or trash a Noah's Ark from your hand or field, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters. That's pretty crazy. So we don't know what Noah's Ark does yet. It's not out. We haven't seen it yet. But you can trash it from your hand or field. So it's probably a field spell. So we're going to see how this plays out. But KOing up to one of your opponent's rested characters at 2 cost is crazy. If this has no conditional of what the cost is, that is a crazy on-play effect that we have to expect. If you have a good rested character on the board, it's going to get KO'd from this, especially when you're playing green. Just being able to trash a card from your hand to KO something is crazy. That's an absolutely insane effect, I think, for Vander Decken at 2 cost. And we'll have to see how we deal with that, because that's at least one card gone off the board, especially in the later game when you're attacking a lot. So you're going to have your own cards rested just because that's part of the game. That's crazy to see on a 2 cost. I'm excited to see that Noah's Ark is going to be a card as well. We're going to have to see what happens with that, since that's kind of Vander Decken's thing. We'll see how many more of his crew also gets printed in this set. But that's all we have this week. There were some vanillas that I'm skipping. We don't need to talk about them, just standard vanilla stuff. No original effect. We got no original ideas on it. We're going to not talk about them anymore. But let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Are you excited for the 6th set of One Piece TCG? Are you looking forward to the direction it's going? Are you worried about power creep? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, see you around. Peace.